and we'll get going. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another ASEA Global Expansion Team Zoom. We have an incredible call planned for you tonight. The amazing Jeannette Chambers has just brought her business to the gold level. And so we're going to hear about her journey tonight. She's got an incredible story, as with so many lessons and so many gems that can help each and every one of us get to the levels that we want to get to in our life and also in our ASEA business. So Jeannette, welcome to the call. You're muted right there. There you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Yes, you've been on this journey with me for a while.
Yes, I have. And it's been fantastic to watch you grow and be persistent and, be strategic and set your goals and stay committed to your goals and stay committed to yourself, regardless of the bumps and bruises that you get along the way, right? Decide what's important to you and staying committed to that and having faith that somehow it'll happen. And I think one of the lessons that you told me, and as we'll hear your story tonight, is that you got to decide why you're doing something, but trying to figure out how it's going to happen is a whole different story, right?
Right. Yeah, sometimes you got to let that part go.
That's right. So Jeannette, tell us a little bit about yourself, since for the people that haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, where do you live and who introduced you to ASEA and why did you even take a look?
So I'm Jeannette Chambers and I live in Rochester, New York, but that's not where I was when I started this journey. David Silverman is a friend of mine that I've known for a very long time. And he started introducing this product to me, Cindy, you're going to laugh, in December of 2013. And I was not my headspace was not ready to jump in. And I share this part of my story because I want all of you to be patient with that person. For 5 or 6 months, he consistently, keyword there, sent me what you had then on a Tuesday night was the medical professionals call. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And every Tuesday I got a text and he said, just join if you can. And finally, one Tuesday I said, fine, I'm going to set my phone up. I'm going to listen and I'm going to make my daughter dinner because I had a 9-year-old at home. I mean, I had a lot going on. And I did. And it was Anita Melograna's story of when she fell off her horse at 61 and her wrist healed very quickly. And my son ended up with a situation where he had shattered his ankle. So timing is everything. And that was the beginning of our journey. And I got that product because the doctor said this was his last chance for that ankle. I mean, it was shattered. And so he had to listen to everything she did or told him to do to heal this ankle. And the only thing she didn't tell us to do was to take ASEA. And we took it, and what was supposed to take 6 months to heal only took 2.5. And that's what got my attention. I wasn't ready to do a business. I really wasn't looking for it. I was really just struggling. Now I know what I was struggling with. I was really struggling with a lot of menopause, a lot of mood issues, a lot of bad sleep, different anxiety attacks. I don't know if that's allowed to say here. And this really took care of a lot of it in a month. But as time went on, Cindy, I built my business maybe 4 years ago into a silver distributorship. And in between that time and now, I want to impress upon anyone who might feel frustrated or struggling. If you're not rank advancing, it's really okay. Just figure out how to get paid weekly, because then you're in business. If you're being paid weekly at the rank that you achieved, that's a huge accomplishment. I don't underestimate what you do on a daily or weekly basis until you hit your next rank. I lost both my parents in this 4-year time. I needed to move. I needed to settle in a state with my siblings. That's a lot of stress, emotional, psychologically. I mean, it's a lot. But my focus was that stability. And I'm really grateful to have had this business to think outside of all of that, because it gave balance to the emotional stress that was going on.
So whether you were moving or whether you had parents that were in trouble, or whether your daughter needed you or your son needed you, or you were just in a bad mood or in a bad mental place or whatever, every Friday you got paid, right?
Every Friday I got paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether we're working or not. I mean, that's the power of this, and the beauty of this business is that it's not just about what Jeannette Chambers does, it's what Jeannette Chambers' team does, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And the old
Yeah.
adage is, would you rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts or 100% of your own? And, through what you've gone through in the past 4 years, I know what your answer would be.
Yeah, I was very grateful. You're absolutely right, Cindy, that there were weeks where I couldn't even give this business the attention I needed, but the work I had done previously kept paying. And every time I would see some of these people, even if they were just product users, I shouldn't say just, even if they were product users, they were still thanking me, sending me an email or giving me a phone call saying, I'm doing so much better, thank you. And I love that. I mean, some of these people I've known since I was 10 or 11 years old, and their lives really transformed after this. I found it, you asked me to do this tonight, and I thought, how am I going to say this? How will I formulate my thoughts? So I went back to a journal entry I'd made, and it was September of 2020. And the journal entry was, transitions lead to transformation. And I truly believe that as those little stepping stones, Cindy, of transitions will lead to the transformation. That's what my whole entry was that night, because it really dawned on me, transformation doesn't happen overnight, right, Cindy? It takes time. It takes going through those events in life and your team. None of this would have happened. Gold was, I really wanted gold to be fun, effortless, and in flow. That was my mantra. And my whole focus was that the people all around me were making a difference.
Whoop. You're frozen right now, Jeannette, or maybe I'm frozen.
Not me.
There you are.
Nice. Can you see me? Did I come back?
You just froze for a second. Yeah, but now you're back in real time. Thank you.
Okay. So it's really, it was so much fun, like what you were saying. It's about having a lot of people doing a little bit. Some of the orders that came in during this week, I had no idea where they were going to come from. There were a couple things you mentioned, Cindy, about the strategy. And if I can share that now, I'd like people to know this was really not just like, oh, I woke up and thought it was going to happen. Last fall, when I heard Tyler say, we are redox, that lit a fire under me like I had never experienced. I wasn't there when you heard redox signaling molecules, but that was like that moment for me, Cindy. We are redox, and then for him to say we are just one piece of an orchestra blows my mind to this day. I get so excited about what is possible with this business in such an industry that nobody even knows yet what's coming. That really got me focused. And then I made a decision. My youngest is 18. She graduates in June, and I lose her child support. I need that child support. It's a significant portion of my budget. Right now, ASEA manages some portion of it, but not all of it. So I started mapping out exactly what I needed to do to reach the milestones so that I could be paid consistently. One of those pieces, and I heard your request about this, and I have to reach out to Trish and Bob Schwinkler. Many years ago, Bob had a video on A-Team support that talked about how he and Trish mapped out their paycheck on a weekly basis. And it's when they follow their projected auto ship. Because if you don't know your numbers, you won't know what your paycheck really is. You can't count on business packs. You can't count on entrepreneur packs. Those are the nice, sweet bonuses we get, right, Cindy? But to have true paycheck, you want to know, what does your team projected auto ship look like? So I go in my back office and I look at that consistently. And he showed me a little chart. Do you want me to share that now with you, Cindy?
Sure.
I pulled it up.
Absolutely.
And this chart I created, and of course I thought I had it. It's not popping up. This chart I had in my system because it's not popping up here. Oh, here it is. I don't know, can you see that very well?
That's great.
Okay, so this chart is based upon what Bob shared. Now these are my numbers. I keep this, I created this. I want reminders of what the requirements are to go to each rank. And then you fill it in. Now this is a generic one I actually built. So you put your goal number here and you put how many director 300 you need. And then this column will tell you exactly what you need. I have a formula in there. So like over here, I have it by quarters. And if I click on the second quarter, which is where I am now, I'm in April. This was my gold. That was my gold week. These are some of the things. Now I'm looking, my goal now is to be paid at silver so I can break open the executive momentum pool. And I think that the consistency of the business is what excites me of what's possible. So my team is, I'm actually already there. I didn't even realize. So tonight I looked at my numbers and I thought, oh, I better make this number go bigger. But that's what happens when the team is building. So let me get rid of the share. I love that chart, but that came from Bob Schwinkler. And Tammy Gates taught me how to look back in the projected auto ship and really build your business with that. I don't know what you and Bo do, but I find that Saturday mornings, I sit down, I look at my numbers, I pay attention to my Director 300 reports, I look at volumes, I look to see who can go up to the next rank. One of the questions you asked me on the phone the other day was, who else rank advanced? Well, they didn't rank advanced, but the exciting part was they got paid at the rank that they have achieved, at their lifetime rank. I shouldn't say no one did. One person did rank advanced to Director 300. She was shocked. And it was so exciting just to hear that in her voice. But it all came from up. And I find that when I was doing my mantras about wanting to make a certain rank, I changed the language. The language isn't that I'm a gold. The language is that I have a gold distributorship, or that, like, my mantra now is that I am excited and honored to help over 1,000 new associates on my team transform their health and finances because I have built a diamond business. Those words were chosen specifically because my brain can't think of me as a diamond. I'm not a cut piece of glass, right? But I have a diamond business and it excites me to measure it. So I chose a number. And I think that those are the pieces that strategically, when you're building something, you need to measure. You have said it, Alan Noble have said it. Well, what are you paying attention to? And numbers are important. Go ahead.
So just to go back to that chart, let's just say your goal is 5,000. At the beginning of the week, you look at your pay leg and you have a projected auto ship of 3,600. You know that your gap is that $1,400, right? So 1,400 points. So that you know, between you and your team, if you together come up with 1,400 points, then you will accomplish your goal that week, right? Those are the numbers you're really looking at and projecting every single week, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, perfect. And the same with Director 300s. Okay, it looks like I already have one or I'll have two, but I need to get a couple more. Where would those, where could those come from? So yeah, just being very aware of where your business is. And as Tyler Norton says, knowing the score, right? You can't win the game.
Knowing the score. And the other piece to that is I didn't know how or where, because you're pretty much spot on. That's where I started, actually, was with 3,600, and you didn't even know that. I had to let go of the how. There was that Director 300. She really had no business in building the business. I hadn't talked to her in years about signing anybody on. She just loved this product and what it had done for her. And I think a big part of this is expressing gratitude. Every day, I meditate, I focus on what I'm grateful for. I start my day in such a state of gratitude that sometimes I just feel like I'm almost floating. And when I came to that place, I was so grateful to be gold. I felt like I was stepping into the role. I had become that. We have that wonderful, wonderful expression of believe, belong, become, right? And as we all know, Tyler doesn't mince words. Those words were chosen specifically for our purpose and mission. And when you see it, and I could feel it, and I could be grateful for it, I let go of the how. I didn't know how the Director 300s were coming. I didn't know where the volume was coming from, but I knew every morning I had already reached it and I could see it. So it was a week of magic. And I think that was part of the things that we talked about. And as I rank advanced again, because my business is growing with more depth and more width, I can only imagine that the magic will continue, because I don't know where it's going to be coming from. And that really makes it fun.
So give some examples of some of the magic that was happening so people can hear the kinds of things when it says, when you make a firm decision, providence moves too. And that definitely happened during the week because you had made a firm decision. The universe tested you a couple times and you were like, no, it's done. It's already done. It just has to show up. And so all of a sudden being delivered to you were these things that if you had to, guess that they were going to happen, there's just no way you'd bet on that, because that's just not, it doesn't even seem logical. It wasn't logical, right? So just give us some examples of some of the things that happen, how providence shifted, and these things, these unexpected, just out of the universe things showed up on your doorstep, in your house, in your volume book.
So the first one was the Director 300. When she called me and said, after 4 or 5 years of talking to her family, out of the blue, her sister called and said, I really want to try this product. And then 3 days later, her sister-in-law called and said, I really want to try this product. She was stunned. So she had plenty of volume in there. And so she was my first, like, wow, that is really cool. And then another moment in there,
just to be clear, she had a lot of volume in there because she'd been on auto ship and she had collected carryover volume week after week after week, right? Even though she wasn't building a business, she remained active. And so that volume collected and collected and collected. So when she decided to sponsor her sister and then her sister-in-law, all of a sudden she plugged those people in and boom, she's Director 300. That's how quickly that can happen, right? If you remain active.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that.
Sure.
And she got a big check. So, and at first she had them on the wrong side. She had them both on the same side. So I had to get that switched over. So when you say the universe was testing, I was like, okay, here's my first test. Let's see how calm I can stay. So she filled out the paperwork and we got it changed over. And she kept asking, why do I care? What? I don't care. I just want to help them. I said, because you're going to miss out on blankety blank amount of money. And she said, oh, okay, you can change them. Then the second one was, I put it out that I really was only like a case away. And I just thought, well, let me just see if anybody else has any orders out there. So I put it out to my team. I left the office I was working in, came home, and out of the blue, that case came from someone not even on that text message. It was unreal to me when I looked at it, and I said, oh my God, I'm already done. And it was like 4:30 in the afternoon. And then I think the one thing that you're thinking of, Cindy, is the call I got at 4:30. Am I right?
Yeah, well, and it was interesting because you had chosen a number, even though you needed 5,000 on your pay leg, you had chosen 5,200, right?
Yes,
For
yes, I
whatever
did.
reason, it's good to have a little buffer just in case. But your goal, your firm goal, you have to be specific, and you were very specific. You were 5,200, not 4,900, not 4,700, not 5,500, 5,200. That was your number, right?
Right. That was my number. And I even tried to lower it to make myself feel like, oh, why do you got to shoot so high for? And every ounce of my being said, no, 5,200. So at 4:30, I got a phone call from a man who I had been married to. It was a very dangerous marriage. And I left. It's my 18-year-old's father, but it's been close to 14 years since we have not been together. He does not make the wisest of health choices. So a couple weeks ago, he found himself in the ICU near death. His kidneys were failing and his liver was failing. By the grace of God, he came back to life and he's home. And he called that day to tell my daughter he's chosen not to continue on his dialysis. And it was not a call we were expecting in the middle of the afternoon. I heard him say the words that many of us have heard others say. The doctors told me there's nothing more they can do. So I patiently let him continue his story and the decision that he was at peace with his life and he would just wait time out. So I had said, well, if I had something to make you more comfortable until that time, would you be interested? So for a man who had just declared he was okay with this decision, he turned on a dime and said, yes, whatever it is, send it to me. So the agreement was that I would send the first, the first case. And then if he continued to feel better, he would put himself on auto ship and do as needed. That I placed the order without thinking. I just knew what was right. It was a way of making peace with a past that was not filled with love. It was a moment in time that I knew was the right thing to do. And I placed the order knowing what he needed. And when I finished the order, my total was 52.56.
Unbelievable.
And I told Peg Coates the story. And Peg says, Jeannette, add that up. I said, okay. So I added it up and it equals 9 in numerology. And if anyone is familiar with numerology, the number 9 is a very powerful number in business transactions. It's a universally guided number. And then I looked at the week that I did it. It's the 13th week of 2021. And you add those numbers up and it's 9. So I was destined to make it at this goal, let me tell you.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. You made a firm decision. You got your team involved. You strategized how you were going to get it done. And then you went to work. So did your team, and it materialized. So you already saw it in your mind's eye. And it was just a matter of it showing up so everybody else could see it. But there was no doubt in your mind that it was already done. Right?
Correct. Yeah. And with great gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah. Such a fantastic story. So how will you use the lessons that you've learned on your journey to gold going forward to diamond?
So I've already done it. That next morning I woke up and I will say I was not prepared for the congratulations. My mind, Cindy, when I know when you were on a track and you've got the blinders on, because this was just a stepping stone to Diamond, to what I need for my family. I was a little blown away because I was already focused on the next morning. I made a list today of the 30 people I'm following up with. I thought, what? Congratulations, I'm not done yet. so, so in answer to your question, I just sat down and did the same thing. I visualized, I've already got, oh, here's a really fun trick to do. In your virtual office, don't look at where you are. Like my settings are set to platinum. So I see all the time what I need to do for platinum. And I just love that visual when I go in. So that's the first thing I do. Saturday morning, I still did the same thing, Cindy. I went in, looked at my dashboard, paid attention to my numbers, saw what I was missing, where can I make it up? I started reaching out to find out who else wants to go Director 300. And I reach at all levels of interest, wherever anyone says they're ready to move. I'm not trying to move someone that doesn't want to move. And I started reaching out and sending and promoting the events for the week.
Yeah.
It's the consistency, right?
Yeah. And consistency sounds like an easy thing until your parents die, until you get divorced, until you have to move, until you get sick, until something else happens. You know, it's so much easier not to be consistent than to be consistent no matter what. But, you know, that slight edge that being consistent gives you, that just compounds over time, is really the key to this business. And the truth is that it really doesn't take that long to be consistent. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, carving out that, you know, slice of time out of your day to do, you know, to reach out to your 2 people or whatever commitment you've made to yourself. It really doesn't take that much time. It's more a matter of it being a priority above, you know, taking out the trash or doing the dishes or, you know, taking a shower some days, right? I mean, it's just like, I have got to do this, and this wins over. If I have to either do this or do this, I am doing my ASEA business, because at the end of the day, you know, this is what's going to pay me in my retirement, for my children, my stability. If something happens, this is my plan B, so that I can land softly instead of really in trouble, right?
Yeah, you know, and that's a good point. There's something that I realized. It's not about why I have something. It's about what happens if I didn't accomplish my why. That's what I can't handle. That's what motivates me, not the why. It's what happens if I don't do the why or don't have that why. And I think about that.
What would happen to you if you didn't get your why? What would happen?
I don't want to think about it. I don't know where I would move. I don't know how I would pay for my daughter's college. I don't know if I'd ever see my son in Israel. He lives in Tel Aviv. I don't know how I would help my other children. I don't know. I don't want to think about that. It makes me cry. It's a terrifying thought.
So they say you're either running away from a nightmare or you're running towards a dream. And the truth is that we're really doing a combination of the both. You know, we definitely don't want this to happen. And man, we would love for this to happen. And so that's what keeps us going every single day. No, I'm not going there. And yes, I want to go there. Right.
Yeah, and I think for me, I was running away from the fear for so long that eventually I began to believe in the dream. It took a while for me to believe in the dream. I'd come from an abusive marriage. And if you come from something like that, that's why transition is so important for me to transform. I had to transition from being so frightened and untrusting and not sure of the next step to, I can do this. I know who I am. I know what I can do for others. And I am a powerful woman.
And you deserve this.
But when people can't get there yet, and you need to be patient and let them transition to their own transformation. That's when it's so exciting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like trying to pull a carrot out of the earth before it's ready to grow, right? You have to water it and put sunshine in it and wait until that little carrot sprouts, right? You can't rush the process, can you? No. Yeah. Well,
I'm so grateful for the leaders in this organization, like you and Bo, who waited, who kept sending me light and a little bit of water.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great journey. You're an incredible leader. You're a wonderful example. I think so many people are going to appreciate this call because I think so many people can relate to you and your journey and all the things that you've spoken about tonight. So congratulations on your stepping stone on the way to much bigger stepping stones on your journey to diamond and beyond, knowing that, nobody gets from gold to diamond. They have to go through platinum and diamond, it's a stepping stone, and you're actually stepping back and solidifying silver before you go on to solidify gold, to solidify platinum, to solidify diamond. So, we do have a 4-week month most of the time, and we on a monthly auto ship. So you really have to secure those 4 pins of the foundation, 4 weeks, not just, have a hump week, get a lifetime rank and try to move on to the next rank, because you'll get so frustrated. You have to build 4 strong weeks every single month, don't you?
Yes, exactly. So pay attention to that back office. They've really built it well.
That's right. Jeannette, any parting words before we wrap it up tonight?
Be grateful. Every day, be grateful. And magic really does come.
Absolutely. Well, and isn't it true that you can actually be grateful for the things that seem like bad things along the way, as well as for the good things, right? So the gratitude for the whole journey, all the warts and sneezes and things that come along with it, it's all part of what you're made of, right? That makes you stronger.
Yes. Yes. Even making peace with this man. I just never expected it to be this way. And I'm so grateful, because it was that event that turned me around and allowed me to stay focused and really grow into who I am. It's already there. Each of us already have a divine self that's truly waiting for us to match up to that energy and meet them where we deserve to be. And I believe that in each of us. And that event that you're, talking about, where all the bad things may happen, their gift. It was definitely something that was happening for me so that I could grow.
That's right. That's right. Well, I call ASEA a spark of the divine, and you're a spark of the divine.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your success. And we know that this is just the beginning for you.
Congratulations, Jeannette. Thank you.
Thank you, Bo.
Great call.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.